let's see.
Okay.
If I hit share and I hit this little guy, hopefully you guys see
Well,
that.
yeah, it's coming up. Perfect.
Great.
Love it. Now that's an actual Melges there, not
Yeah,
the not
there's
the
no AI
AI.
there. I mean, look at my face. I don't know what happened there. That ain't good. Not happy about something.
Oh no, just concentrating. Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know what Alex is doing, but Jib's not trimmed in all the way for sure there in that picture. But all right,
Yeah.
what how we want to just go ahead and
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
decided
yeah,
to talk about starts today.
perfect.
Um, and let's see if I can do this. So let's go through the rules that apply at the start. And then we'll go into all the little, variations. And then I got some little things we can look at. So, um, the
Perfect.
start, right? What rules apply are basically the same tack overlap. That's what happens at the start. Everybody comes in on starboard, and what does that look like, right? So let's talk about what same tack overlap is, right? When a boat are on the same tack and overlap, a windward boat shall keep clear of a leeward boat, right? Pretty standard. Okay. Now, on the same tack and not overlapped. When a boats are on the same tack and not overlapped, a boat clear astern shall keep clear of a boat clear ahead. So basically, what that means is the boat in front can do what it, can maneuver and make changes until the boat behind gets an overlap, right? And what it says there, let's talk about that for a second. When a boat acquires right of way, which means to leeward coming in and getting an overlap, she shall initially give the other boat room to keep clear, unless she acquires right of way because of other boats' actions. But we won't worry about that too much. And again, so again, when a boat acquires right of way, she shall initially give other boats room to keep clear, right? You get the overlap, you just can't, you got to be able to say, hey, leeward boat, and then the windward boat has to respond. Okay. And then I want to mention, we'll come back to proper course in a second. Okay, typical scenario here, right? Let's look at this for a minute. So in this scenario, the red boat and the green boat, right? When the red boat's coming in behind in red one, green boat doesn't have to react. They can sail around, they can do whatever they want to do. Even though they're yelling coming up, green boat does not have to react, correct? When under red one and green one scenario. Once the boat gets an overlap, so if you look at red two and green two, right? The bow, they have an overlap. Now the red two can say, come up, leeward boat, and the green boat has to start to come up and stay clear.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Mhm.
that's what usually typically happens here, right? Is you get this overlap and you say, leeward boat, and the windward boat doesn't respond quickly, right? They're still trying to go straight. But according to the rules, as soon as their overlap is, you have to start, to adjust and keep clear of the red boat that's to leeward of you. So then when red gets to three and green gets to three, right? So in this scenario, green boat has reacted and has adjusted course. So if this was exactly the scenario, it looks like it would be, green boat did do what they were supposed to do. Okay. So to
Mhm.
review, under red one, green one can go anywhere they want. There's no overlap. They can come down, but again, if they come down a whole bunch, all of a sudden their stern will turn and they'll get an overlap. Then they have to come back up again
Mhm.
and avoid, the lured boat and keep clear of the lured boat. So that's the general rule and how it applies. But let's look in a couple more scenarios here, okay? At this, let's go with this. Where's the next one I wanted to go to? This one here. So let's talk about this one here. Okay. Um, let's
And
talk
I'm
about this
really
one.
happy you're talking about starts because on the third race at the rodeo was quite interesting. And I think it was Seth. I think he's on here. He pushed everybody over, and so this is a great thing for
Yep.
everybody to talk about after
Yeah,
that, right, Seth? Yeah.
Yep. That was definitely that was me.
good. All right, well, let's talk about this one rule here because this is the little bit of the tricky part here that people I don't think necessarily always fully understand exactly, right? So when boats are equine right away, right? If they're in the race, if you're going upwind after the start, there's a proper course. If you're sailing around before the start, there is no proper course, correct?
Mhm.
So Rule 17 says if a boat clear stern becomes overlap with two of her hull lengths to leeward and a boat on the same tack, she shall not sail above her proper course while they remain on the same tack and overlapped. Okay? If you're sailing upwind and you get an overlap, the boat clear storm becomes overlap with two boat lengths to leeward of the boat, she shall not sail above her proper course, right? So that's you just can't luff somebody going upwind after the start.
Hmm.
You have to sail proper course um, once you've established that when there's a an overlap. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and then the proper here, this is highlighted below, the proper course limitation on some lured boats does not apply before the starting signal because boats have no proper course before the start. Okay? So when we look at this one, okay, here we'll call yellow boat and red boat under number one, there's no overlap, right? When they get to two, there's an overlap. So yellow boat can say, lured boat, a red boat comes on up, yellow boat comes on up. Right here, if this was the gun, yellow boat, you could say that that's probably not quite head to wind, but not proper course. Yellow boat at the gun has to bear off and go to close hauled. They can't stay luffing unless there's a boat under their bow that they're trying to avoid, right? There's
Mhm.
nobody to lure. They can bear off and go. They have to do that. They have to put the bow down. They can't hold you up. So that's the little bit of the things that I don't think everybody fully understands that once the gun goes off, you got to put the bow down and get to close hold.
And I think I know the answer, but it just depends on even if you're way behind the line and the gun goes off, that's the start.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then
Yep.
I can't hold you up. Okay.
Yep. No, it's okay. So let's go to this scenario here, right? So under this scenario, the blue boat, the Olga and Ivan there are coming in, and you know, Olga Ivan can't go in there because it's an obstacle. They can go to windward um of the mark. So as long as Olga doesn't go, again, if it's at the gun, close hold, they're fine. You're fine to go in there. So this happens quite a bit, right?
Hmm.
Quite a bit. Now, how about this scenario? Okay. Doesn't happen very often, probably won't, but to give you the difference, if the gun's gone off, Ivan does have room to go in there, and Olga has to give them room because this is an obstruction that you just can't go around. So it's slightly different when there's an obstruction that you can't go around versus the obstruction of the committee boat where you can go around and come back and start. So there is it's because it's an obstruction and you need to ask for room under, and we'll cover that in a whole different another scenario. Okay, let's look. All right, so here's a scenario where two, the yellow boat comes in, gets an overlap, starts to hail to come up, and waits a while until they hit. So in this scenario, the red boat would be wrong. They did not respond in a quick enough manner. And that's a little bit of the tricky part, right? I think a lot of people tend to do it a little slower if they think they're really close to the line. The rudder angle and the tiller angle is always the thing, is like push the tiller down. If they're holding the tiller straight, then they're not turning up once you haven't, like once you get to this number two, the tiller's got to start turning. The sheet's got to come in, the boat's got to start turning under the rule. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Was there anything else in here? No, that's it. So what happened with your scenario this weekend where Seth was just allured and just kind of held it, which is perfectly legal, right? As long as the gun goes off, you bear off and you go.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Seth,
so
you want,
we went about 3 boat lengths below the pack. You could see a big pack was going to be OCS. So we just hung out. We were a little OCS as well. And then at the gun, we turned down to exonerate and clear ourselves. So pre-start, we held everybody up. As soon
Yep.
as the gun, actually probably 15 seconds before the gun, we started ducking, which then led everybody else waiting for the boat next to them to start ducking to go clear themselves. And
Yeah.
there was 2 or 3 boats that I saw that were not OCS that then were perfectly legal picks that made it where none of that pack could go back
mhm.
Right.
because
There,
those boats
there's
had rights and every boat that was over early had no rights at the time.
correct. They do not have rights. Right. Correct. At that point, as
So
they're going back
we
to
had
clear
beautiful
themselves.
legal picks to hold up the whole field.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Um, and what I could do is show you it real quick. Let me see if I,
What?
Oh,
yeah.
probably the Vacros data. That's great.
What?
No, no, it's even better. So here, check this out from the drone. So,
Oh, yeah, there's us, the boat with a blue stripe on the bottom, just above Billy there.
okay,
So
yeah.
we hooked this boat. Both of these guys were going to be way over early. There was too many boats coming in at the committee boat.
That's
At this
okay.
point, we were OCS. There was probably 20 seconds to go or 30 seconds to go, and we just sat there, didn't let anybody get out. Probably 15 seconds to the gun, I ducked out and I saw that Mustache, I think, was legal, and a couple other boats were not OCS. We turned back up, and all 3 or 4 of those boats above us, so we cleared. None of those guys could go down to clear themselves.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see the dance here.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa.
It keeps
Oh,
going.
and then it keeps going.
Yeah.
And then that guy had to tack off to go duck.
Yeah.
Oh. Did they hit?
It was close.
Yeah,
I
that
bet
guy
you it
would have
was
been
close.
me.
Is that you, Ben?
I'm reasonably sure it was. I'm trying to zoom in on the numbers, but I was the rightmost boat that was over first.
Oh, well, thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Wow, you cut right in front of them too.
Is that me that
So
went
yeah,
back?
those
Yeah, it
four
probably was.
boats, 5 boats had pretty slow starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
really
that,
hard. Go back up a bit if you don't mind. Back
mhm.
up to like 30 seconds when everybody's kind of over, right?
So when I
What?
crossed the line, it was probably 30 seconds over.
Stop there for a second if you can, right? So to me, I mean, this is what, in probably 30 seconds,
Yeah, this is probably 30
right?
seconds.
So exit strategy, right? If you look at the one, two, three, there's four boats that are over the start right now, right? The one uh, farther away has the lighter colored sails, and then the other three clump right there. I mean, in your mind, you got to be, what's the exit strategy, right? You know you're going to be over, and how do you get out of that and turn around quicker? And go ahead and play it now a little bit.
And actually, Marty, if you pause it for a second,
Yeah,
what triggered our exit, all I was doing, because I thought that I was able to shut that hole at the boat. We did miss 1 boat, which kind of sucked, but I
yeah,
thought I got everybody. The trigger was, if you watch Mustache, as soon as I thought that I couldn't get back, I turned down. So I would have held
right.
people even longer as long as we knew we had an out.
Yeah, yeah. All right, play it out.
So right here, mustache was a threat. So we start turning.
Say,
Right.
Marty,
Which you can
I love
do.
that you use the term exit strategy
Yeah.
because Rick's boat exit strategy is the boat at the boat end there.
Yeah, we missed, like I said, we missed
And
one.
we kind of ran away with that one. So great job forcing everyone over, Seth. Much appreciated.
Was that you, Jason, getting off the line?
Yeah, I was trimming for Rick on exit strategy.
Nice.
It's
But
good
what
Yeah,
was
I
fun.
mean,
good was that we had Vaquero so that it wasn't a whole, we didn't have to take everybody back. So that was nice to be able to,
everybody at Vicaros. That's really nice.
yeah. So one more
That's really
time.
nice. Well, then you guys should, you're over, right? Trying to get out of it then, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like the mustache ride coming in late, but again, there wasn't much.
That wasn't their choice.
No. But then they had nowhere to go because they're still early.
that's me right in the middle of it. I didn't have anywhere to go.
No, nowhere
Yeah.
to go.
Rolled over the top of me, and I tried to go down over the top of the other guy, and right there's where I almost hit him. But
Is mustache ride not over though? They're
no,
still
but that's
clear.
right.
No.
Lowered the boat. They
They
really,
just couldn't turn up.
yeah.
Right. And now they
Yeah,
have the other
yeah.
ones locked
I
out.
left
Yeah.
them. I left them a bunch of boats that were in their
Yeah.
way.
And
Yeah.
look, I'm still trying to go. Well, I don't know where to go. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go?
Yeah, nobody in that pack could go down or even attempt to escape because they were waiting on us.
I finally tacked. There we go, and then drove straight down. I just hate this.
Oh, that's where the protest was from. Okay.
Oh, there was a protest?
Well, I
No, it
didn't.
never went through, but
Oh, okay.
Was that
but
mustache right there? Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought somebody was going to turn two boats into or a boat into two J12s. It looked kind of sketchy for a second.
There's
Yeah.
actually a
No,
lot more room in front of that guy that doesn't look like there is. So
yeah.
I had plenty of room there.
Who was running the drone?
I was.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just happened to catch that start. I caught a few starts. And then but Mustache Ride was Callan and the youth boat.
And this is where I started cussing a lot.
Uh,
Yeah. And I cut it off here. I was just and I got a lot more, but that was just mainly the start. So
Oh, that was enough.
all right, let's talk about real quick, which I didn't put in this, was if you're coming down the line on port and you're reaching and there's a boat behind you and slightly to windward and you want to tack because of a starboard tacker, can you call starboard tacker room to tack? Anybody?
Repeat that. Sorry.
If you are reaching down on port and there's a boat behind you on port and that has you, if doesn't allow you to tack without giving you room, are you allowed to ask room to tack because of a starboard tacker?
Depends on the situation if that's the only exit.
Well,
Is
I believe
ducking
so.
available?
you have to be close hauled in order to call for room to tack, though, because you're already reaching off.
hmm.
So, and if it's a boat to leeward of you, then you need to ask, room to duck there needs to still happen. But if there's a boat behind you, you can't ask for room to tack. So that was one of the things, the difference when you're coming in on port.
Hmm.
So,
Nice.
all righty. I mean, again, the proper course thing is really one of the things I don't think a lot of people fully, understand is the minute that that gun goes off, the leeward boat has to put its bow, if it can, has to put the bow down and go.
I would
Proper
say the
course.
biggest mistake is on windward leeward when you're on, let's say both boats are on starboard, you're stacking up and people come in behind with speed. So there's a bunch of boats, let's say all stalled out on the start. They come in, they establish overlap with speed, but there's nowhere to actually go because there's also a boat for them leeward or whatever, and everyone's moving slow. What is room and opportunity to actually avoid that? What is the diligence of the stalled boat who can't move?
Well, at that point, you can't, right? There's, your argument is I don't have steerage. I'm not, it's not like I am bearing off my rudder. I'm holding my rudder straight to try to get some flow, putting the rudder down, nothing happens. So when you're that stalled out, they just can't come in there and just hit you, which happens quite frequently, right? Room and opportunity. The opportunity is you have to have enough speed to turn the boat. So if you're so slow that you can't even turn the boat, then they can't, you know, you don't have the opportunity to stay clear because the boat's not going. So it's on them not to come in there and hit you and protest you and
Yep.
yeah.
Because if they
And
hit you, they could, that you're
As a
supposed to.
lured boat, you're still at fault.
Yeah,
correct.
exactly.
You're right. And the argument there when you go to the room is, hey, I needed room and opportunity to do so. I was doing 2 knots and, had no flow across the foils. So they were doing 6 knots or 5 knots, right? Whatever, coming
Yeah.
in. And there's nothing I can do to maneuver out of their way in that scenario. So that's pretty common too. But it's really hard. Try not to be late, right? That second row, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Trying to find a hole, you get lucky once in a while and you can time it. But look at Mustache. They had no, they were coming in late looking for a hole and there wasn't one. They sailed down the line almost halfway before they could actually turn up and get up on the starting line um, on that one. So, okay.
Well, very cool. Does anybody else have any ideas on the starts? Anything we want to talk about next time? I know, Seth, you
Yeah.
have all kinds of ideas.
We want to do the next one. I don't know.
Let's see. One that is how about the one I don't think you were on there with us. But coming down to the leeward mark when you have boats coming up at you. I know that there's been a lot of problems, especially on like Bacardi's when there's so many.
Oh yeah. ASIMs, it's super prevalent just because
Mhm.
of the angles. You're basically coming in at their
Yeah.
upwind angle almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we could talk some strategies too, a little bit about that, and how to work with those things.
that would be
Right?
good.
Yeah, we can go through that for next time. Sure. Leeward mark roundings and upwind management, downwind yeah, once you get around two, right?
Yeah.
Upwind downwind management.
Yeah, honestly, the rodeo was really clean. We didn't have too many rules issues. The fleet spread out enough. There was a pretty big, I think every race, and that and the other side of that, it was super shifty. So it was kind of just a reachy up down on a couple of them. So it was kind of
Yeah.
just a parade
Here was pretty crazy on Sunday, huh?
all Sunday. We didn't get to sail.
We didn't get a race Sunday,
There was no wind.
Yeah.
but there was until there wasn't.
Marty, is there anything you would have done differently on those starts for some of the other boats? If you started to stack up pre-start, I mean, at 30, 40 seconds, you're going to be over. Would you have backwinded main? I mean, is there anything?
You'll hear there'll be a time on our boat that if we know we're gonna be over, exit. You'll hear me, exit strategy, right? Exit strategy. And we're looking, trying to find one. And like I tell, like with the ICs with Steve, I'm looking, wait, hold on, we're gonna duck and then tack, trying to get out, slow the boat down, go a little higher, um, just to try to, get, because yeah, you got to get out of there. But that, at a minute and a half, you're probably in trouble. At a minute, you're definitely way too early. The problem is once you get to about 40 seconds, now you're locked in. A lot of those, everybody's kind of hung there from about, at least from 40 seconds in, and then they were in trouble, right? So trying to get an exit at a minute, like, oh my gosh, I'm packed around a bunch of people. I can't accelerate out of here. I can't hold my high lane. Yes. You just gotta make it happen earlier. Have to make that decision earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah. Way earlier.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you, Marty, again. And
All right.
so we'll get this out on YouTube again so everybody can see it. And we'll keep these going all summer long. So this is going to be really good.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thanks for making it happen.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.